Hey everybody. All right, what I'd like to talk about today is the concept of diminishing returns and how that relates to rest days, whether in martial arts training or whether it's relating to work. Now, the law of diminishing returns from economics states that as we invest, whether it's time or energy or effort or money into a project, but the same thing applies to training, at the beginning, we will start seeing returns increase quite significantly. So as we just start a venture, we see returns coming up, and over time that will actually start tapering off. Now, what will inevitably happen is you will hit that point that is known as diminishing returns, where it doesn't matter how much or how many resources you pour into that venture. Again, doesn't matter if it's work or training, you're going to see lower returns for each unit of or resource that you put in. Now, there will also come a time where we'll actually start going the other way. As you're putting more and more resources in, you actually might seeing a loss or a decline in productivity. And it's up to us to figure out what is that optimal point. And that is a dynamic point that changes over time for different things. Where does that relate to rest days? So as I was randomly scrolling through social media today, I saw a meme which said something along the lines of, rest days, or if you take rest days, that's why nobody's going to remember your name, or rest days are for the weak, or some such nonsense, right? Now, if you're an elite level competitor in martial arts or sport, sure, there's a time where you're going to have to push through that, fine. Same thing applies to work. But what I have seen in martial arts over, my whole life is that some places and some clubs definitely have a culture where it's almost a name and shame if you take a break or if you don't come to training for whatever reason. And there generally is a lot of pressure on people to keep coming to training. Maybe that's because martial arts is not a notoriously profitable industry, so they have to keep people there. But either way, I think it creates a very toxic culture that is not conducive to long-term training. Okay, so if you need a break, and there's a ton of science to back it up, that recovery is crucial to performance, right? Then you need to take a break. And training, for hours every day, 6 or 7 days a week, if you're not an elite competitor, which the vast majority of us are not, right? You're going to be able to train like that for a short term, burn yourself out, break your body, not be able to do what you love doing for the long term. Now, if we think of that in a business context, the same thing applies. So the law of diminishing returns doesn't just apply to, products or services. It also applies to people. So if we take COVID as an example, the lines between our personal life, virtual life, and work life have blurred significantly over the last few months, right? A lot of us are working from home, you wake up, everybody's got like a Zoom shirt hanging. So if you got a Zoom meeting, you can just put it on. Might be still wearing your pajamas, right? But all those lines are blurring now. And what that means is that you may be disturbing the balance of work and rest. Now, if we go back to that diminishing returns concept, if you're working towards a project that has a particular deadline and it's challenging and you're putting more and more time and resources into it and you're not getting anything back in terms of productivity, it might just be that you need a bit of a break. Now, that time that you're going to take off, you're more than going to make up for with productivity later on, okay? Within a given ratio, of course. So make sure that you find that balance of how hard to push, and when to take a break. Now, if we connect martial arts and work, right? For a lot of people that I know, myself included, martial arts is the perfect way to take a break from work because it's very meditative, it's healthy, it's good for your body, it's good for your mind, you learn great skills. So connecting them to me has always been a natural thing. Okay, so there you go, guys. Some thoughts on the law of diminishing returns, when to push in training, when to push at work, and that idea that rest days are for the weak is absolute nonsense. Learn when you need to take a break, and it'll help you with your performance.